As the episode begins, Charlotte and Agent Warren Price watch an interview where she discusses the upcoming White House costume party. Charlotte wants to cancel the event, but Price insists they go through with it. It's the perfect opportunity to lure out the killer. Meanwhile, Chucky, now disguised in a Phantom of the Opera costume, lurks nearby. In another part of the White House, Henry lies in bed, withdrawn and refusing to attend the party. His father tries to encourage him, but once he leaves, Chucky reveals his true self. Dropping his good guy act, the doll mutters that Damballa will soon accept him again and that he needs a knife. Henry is unsettled. He doesn't understand what Chucky means, but it's clear something dangerous is coming. Meanwhile, Tiffany arrives at prison, where the inmates recognize her immediately. Cheers and murmurs spread through the facility, but Officer Erica keeps her away from the others, placing her in a secluded cell. Back at the White House, a butler delivers a pumpkin and a large knife for Henry to carve. Chucky eyes the blade, but his attention shifts when the new nanny, Annie, enters. She quickly connects with Henry, helping him with the pumpkin and lifting his spirits. But in a house filled with lurking dangers, those who seem the kindest often don't last long. In prison, Tiffany meets Evelyn Elliott, a former celebrity chef. They bond over their past crimes, with Evelyn casually revealing that she cooked her unfaithful husband and his mistress into a pie. The conversation flows smoothly until Tiffany mentions killing her sister. Evelyn's demeanor shifts, disgusted by the thought of harming family. She storms off, but in doing so, leaves behind her cigarette, a small but crucial detail Tiffany doesn't waste. At the White House party, Jake, Devin, and Lexi arrive with a plan to capture Chucky on video. Their efforts hit an immediate snag when security confiscates their equipment, leaving them with just a phone. Grant welcomes them warmly, introducing them to his parents, but their focus remains on finding Chucky. Meanwhile, the president catches a glimpse of someone in the Phantom of the Opera costume and mistakes them for Henry. Suspicious, he tries to follow, but Chucky disappears. Henry and Annie continue spending time together, their game of hide-and-seek bringing him rare moments of joy. Unbeknownst to them, Chucky is up in the ceiling, tampering with something. Elsewhere, Grant leads Lexi to his room while Jake and Devin take the opportunity to search for Henry and Chucky, only to discover they vanished. In her cell, Tiffany finally receives a package containing a voodoo book and a straw doll. Using Evelyn's cigarette as a link, she casts a spell. Across the prison, Evelyn, who had been leading a cooking class, suddenly loses control of her own body. She slashes at her arms, peels the skin from her hand, and, in a gruesome finale, plunges her head into a pot of boiling water, dying in front of a horrified audience. At the White House, the party reaches its peak as the kids search for Chucky. They find Henry and try to record the doll, but Grant, feeling betrayed, grabs Devin's phone. Suddenly, the lights cut out, throwing the ballroom into chaos. As security rushes to evacuate the president, he spots Chucky up close and realizes something is off. Before he can react, a loud creak echoes overhead. The chandelier, which Chucky had been loosening in secret, crashes down. Screams fill the room as glass and metal crush several guests, including Annie. Jake barely manages to push Devin out of harm's way. And then, in the middle of the destruction, Chucky's voice rings out. "Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?" Later, back in prison, Tiffany receives her meal, only for Officer Erica to spit her gum onto the tray in an act of mockery. Tiffany smirks. This is exactly what she needed. She presses the gum into her straw doll, mutters another incantation, and watches as Erica's body stiffens. Under Tiffany's control, the officer begins gathering personal belongings from other guards. Tiffany's escape plan is now in motion. In the final scene, Chucky stands before a mirror, believing he has completed the ritual after offering 13 sacrifices to Damballa. He removes his mask, expecting to see his youthful face restored. Instead, he looks even worse. His hair is thinning, and his skin is wrinkled. Henry enters the room, staring in shock. "Chucky, what's happening to you?" The doll turns, his voice grim. "I'm fucking dying." And with that, Part 1 comes to a close. Episode review. With Part 1 wrapped up, anticipation for the next installment is high. The episode delivered some memorable deaths, with Evelyn Elliott's demise standing out as particularly gruesome. While the falling chandelier initially felt like a predictable choice, the unexpected details, such as the journalist from episode 1 capturing her own death in a photo and Annie's face peeling off, added an extra layer of shock value. Tiffany's storyline turned out to be more amusing than expected. Her newfound ability to manipulate Erica, and potentially others in the prison, sets up an exciting dynamic for the next part. It's a plotline that promises to keep things unpredictable. On the other hand, the kids' storyline felt underwhelming throughout part 1. However, Lexi's developing connection with Grant adds some depth, making their interactions more engaging. If he ends up joining their mission to stop Chucky, he might even last longer than the usual secondary characters. Finally, the Part 2 trailer hints at an even more over-the-top and entertaining continuation. With its signature mix of horror and dark humor, Chucky's return in 2024 is shaping up to be another wild ride.